right. Very good. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It looks like we already have a couple people online. We are starting this about 2 minutes late, so thank you if you waited. Appreciate it. So today is Giving Tuesday, and we've done live streams in the past on Giving Tuesday, and we had several requests for one this year. So yes, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A. There are already a couple up here. Some of them are asking what this pertains to. Can we ask questions about the school? Interested in enrolling? And is this about the school or also about the church in general? So feel free to ask any questions that we might be able to answer. And I think those would be questions obviously about our work. Our work is education of the youth, which is the school. And we also do a very small apostolate that we have is we've started to post music online. We record our choir practices. And yes, so I would say feel free to ask any question. And if we're able to answer it, we'll answer it to the best of our ability. Thank you. I already have a couple questions here from social media that I noted down earlier today. So we'll start with those. And before we begin, I just want to point out, if you haven't been on a Giving Tuesday live stream before, a couple features you'll notice is that there's obviously a chat section you can open up. Feel free to open that up. We set a goal of getting 50 super chats. Now, we didn't publish this live stream until around noon today, so that's a little bit ambitious. But if you'd like to send a super chat, the way a super chat works is you give a donation along with a question or a comment, and your support would be greatly appreciated. And there's also, if you prefer sending your donation directly to the sisters, if you would like to donate towards any of the projects we'll be discussing, there is a direct link in the description of this live stream. So if you look towards the bottom of the live stream in the description, there's a donate button. And if you open that up, you'll see that there's two ways to donate, either as a one-time donor or a recurring donor. And I'll explain, the difference between those in a little bit. But why don't we get started on the questions first? So probably the most common question we've gotten from our subscribers typically in the private messaging of Facebook or the direct messaging DMs and Instagram is the basic question, what is a sister? What exactly is a sister? It's true, religious sisters are scarce, not as common today. So what is a religious sister and what do we do? So I have Sister Marie Jogues with me this evening. I asked her to join me. Thank you. I know usually Sister Marie Jogues would be preparing her lesson plans for tomorrow, so we appreciate your time. But yes, I'll explain briefly what a sister is, and then maybe you could share with us what you do. Every sister does something different to a certain extent, but we'll ask Sister Marie Jogues. And I also invited Sister Marie Margaret. We'll see if she's able to make it. So in general, a sister is someone who devotes her life to the service of God through the vows, living the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. By living those vows, she gives herself entirely to God and strives to achieve perfection by acting according to his will in all of her actions. So the vow of obedience, you vow to obey your superiors in all things. So you sacrifice your will to God. The vow of chastity, you forego the pleasures of life and the joy of having a family, you might say. Your family is the sisters and your work is the service of the church. And then the vow of poverty, giving up the goods of this world in order to be unattached to the things of this world, which allows you to be more attached to God. So there's the famous story in Holy Scripture where the rich young man comes to our Lord, and it's interesting because it says he was a just man. And that term just man is reserved to very few in sacred scripture. It was very high praise. And he's referred to as a very good man. And he comes to our Lord and says, I keep the commandments. I give much of my goods to the poor. but what must I do next? What more can I do to serve God? And our Lord responded to him to leave all that he possesses, leave his house, leave his family, give up all of his goods, and to come follow him, which is inviting him to be an apostle, to follow our Lord. And interestingly enough, he did not choose that path. It says he went away greatly saddened because he could not do that. And it is true. A vocation is a sacred calling. It is not God's will for everyone. I think what is common is that in the two great callings, the marriage life, which is also a great vocation, serving God in that vocation is what I think everyone has in common. But yes, so basically we devote our lives to serving God through the vows. And typically most religious congregations also have a special work that they devote themselves to. So their time is split between prayer and work. And our work is the education of the youth. And that varies per congregation. The Sisters of Charity were devoted to working in the hospitals, for example. But yes, not every sister is a teacher. Education is very broad, actually a very broad apostolate. There's a lot of tasks besides the actual teaching. But Sister Ray Jokes is a teacher. Yes. You teach the 4th grade homeroom. Yes. And maybe could you share with us another question that we had was how did you realize you had a vocation? Do you remember when you first became interested, or was there a lightning bolt moment? What led you to finding your vocation, and then particular the vocation of the Sisters of Aquinas?
Well, I definitely would say there was not a lightning bolt moment. And when I was around 12, I had an interest to be a Carmelite. But of course, there weren't any Carmelite convents near where I lived. And by the time I was in high school, I had thought I had figured out that the religious life was not my vocation. It was not my vocation at all. I had read a book called Youth's Pathfinder. I thought, okay, you can either be a religious, a mother, or be single. I'm like, well, the religious life is not my vocation.
Not for you. Well, something must have happened then.
Yeah.
Changed
well,
that.
I graduated. What was interesting, I had a brother who at that time was in the seminary. And I heard stories about the sisters of this congregation. And after I graduated, the thought of becoming sister entered my head, and I pushed it away. I already decided it wasn't my vocation, so I just kept pushing it away, and it just kept coming back. Okay. And I thought, well, if I still am thinking of, if a thought is still coming to mind by the time November comes around, then I should give it a try.
Okay.
And November came, and it was still there.
And how much time when did you make that deadline? Was it 6 months before or a year before?
It was less than 6 months
before.
I had graduated in June, and that's when probably a couple weeks after my graduation.
Okay. Very good. So it sounds like you were not, kind of like the rich young man, you were not a very willing, follower. God had to give you a few tugs.
Yes, I was opposed to it because I did not wish to teach. Yes.
Right. Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing that. So, and yes, Sister Ray Jokes mentioned her brother was attending the seminary. He's now a priest, Father Barnes. So he kind of told you about our congregation then.
Yes, I had never really heard about it. So I didn't think that there were options out there.
Right.
And because of that, I didn't want to consider the religious life.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So now that you are a teacher, is it as horrible as you expected?
It is extremely different. Yes. I always thought being a teacher meant you just sat around in a desk all day and you graded papers. That's what I thought teacher
Well, that does happen sometimes.
That does happen, but it's just a very small amount of what it actually is.
Right.
I I never realized that it could be exhausting in the sense that you have to spend energy.
Right.
I always thought it'd be exhausting because you wouldn't be doing anything.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So this is how many years have you been teaching now?
This is my second year.
Second year. Okay. Would you say you've mastered the art of teaching? Is it a lot easier this year, or do we still have a ways to go?
It's a lot easier, but I wouldn't say I mastered it.
Yes. I would say teaching is an art. I would say it's one of those things you can never master because every child's different. So you think you got it down when the year is ending, you think you're doing a great job, and then some child pops into your classroom who is just a whole new challenge. So yes, it definitely is an art. You never stop learning and trying to improve yourself, constant self-improvement. Do you have anything before we end with your story? Do you have anything to share as far as your work of teaching? What is one thing that maybe surprised you that you weren't expecting about the work itself, or maybe something you were expecting that wasn't there, something in particular? You mentioned there's a lot more to it. What would be one thing that you found interesting or fulfilling?
I would say one item I was not expecting is that you always have to make sure you're engaging the students,
Mm-hmm.
which the way I was taught in school, it was you read the information and you did the assignment and you worked basically on your own.
Right. Mm-hmm. Self-paced, just
mostly
following
self-paced.
directions on your own.
Following directions on your own.
Were you in a classroom or were you?
I attended St. Thomas Aquinas Academy.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea of working with the students, making sure they're all paying attention, even when they're studying on their own, making sure they're actually studying.
Mm-hmm.
I never dreamed I would have to do that.
Yeah. So that's the classical approach, which is to engage their minds, to have them basically demonstrating their mastery. There's almost you would say performance, so reciting, discussing, reasoning things out, a Socratic questioning. That's really key to classical education. So the classroom is not a very quiet place. It's very busy, can be a little chaotic at times, but yes, it can. You teach the full day? Are you a homeroom teacher?
Yes, sir.
So I would imagine you're very ready for your coffee at the end of the day.
Well, very much so.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, Sister. And Sister Margaret, thank you for joining us. I know you were busy this evening, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Be here.
If you need to, that's fine. You can go if you need to
Thank
prepare
you.
your lessons. Thank you. So Sister Margaret is not a teacher. She was a teacher for several years, but over time, I think you can be moved up or move to a different area of work as you discover what you're best at, or you develop. For me, it was developing a certain expertise, because when you're first trained as a sister, the initial training is training in your spiritual life, the religious life, which involves classes on studying the vows, studying philosophy, and also the general education credits. So there's Latin and many general education credits. But after you begin your work, after you're a novitiate, there are opportunities to specialize in a specific area. So which you might be better at. Perhaps you weren't born to be a teacher. But Sister Margaret, maybe you could share a little bit about what your work is, what it is you do as a sister.
Yes, so I don't teach this year, but I am our mission house coordinator, our flex program coordinator, our chapel bulletin coordinator, and our event coordinator.
So you are coordinating.
I'm a coordinator, yes.
Yes, so
Coordinator.
events, which is, we just had our All Saints Festival that was actually a month ago now.
Yes.
It seems
yeah.
seems like yesterday, but so the All Saints Day Festival is a large event. This year we had about close to 400 attendees. So coordinating that event, the bulletin, which, the bulletin has parish and school info. There's a lot of coordination there, mass intentions, confession times, things like that. And then the other two you mentioned, did you say flex coordinator?
Flex program coordinator.
Okay.
And our mission house coordinator.
Okay, and what does being the mission house and coordinator, what does that entail?
So yes, so I just returned from our California house where I helped our two newly appointed sisters there set up the school and the house there. So we organized the school. We actually we got a choir going, so the girls are singing Sunday Mass every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a couple field trips, so they're all functioning smoothly. The house is functioning smoothly. The school is functioning smoothly. So I'm back here in Florida to prepare for our Christmas party.
Okay, yes. So it sounds like you have maybe too much on your plate. Because I haven't even asked about flex coordinator. That sounds like a lot.
Well, that one isn't as much work as
I know
the
Sister
others.
Savio assists you.
She's-
I asked her to drop in. We'll see if
Oh,
she can
good.
drop
Yes,
in as
yes.
well.
So she basically runs the Flex
Mhm.
program. I just help with some of the tech part of it
Mhm.
and help make sure that the tutors' work hours are set and that they're happy and
Right. Mhm. Yes.
everything is-
Our Flex program is a homeschool program. It is unlike the live school, it is self-paced. So it works for time zones that cannot join live, or perhaps the family already has a schedule which interferes with live classes, then they can opt for a self-paced program. And that requires, it's truly a separate program, same curriculum, but an entirely separate program. So that has to be run by sisters separately from the online or campus school. Very good. And then there are a couple questions in here, if you don't mind, I could ask you some of these. So before let's see. So the first question says, I know it takes 6 to 8 years for one to become a priest. How long is the process for a sister? And the process does vary per congregation, depending on the work that the congregation does and the training required for that work. But maybe you could share how many years until a sister is done. She's taken her final vows, she's professed, and begins her work.
Yeah, so it's actually very similar to the timeline that a seminarian goes through to become a priest. From start to finish, it's 6 years for our congregation.
Yes. And I know that, for example, the Jesuits have perhaps one of the longest periods of training. The Jesuits have, I think, almost 12 years. Is that correct? Before they
I think it is. You're right.
take their final vows. The Jesuits were known for their long training. But yes, ours is about 6 years. The first year, postulancy, is you start a couple courses, but it's more so just experiencing. You don't wear the habit, and you're basically just seeing what it's like to be a sister and what it means, and if it's something you want to pursue. So the first year is less formal. But if after that year you do want to pursue that life, then you receive the habit. You don't receive the professed veil, but you receive the habit and
And a new name.
a new name, yes. And you begin your courses on studying the vows. And the novitiate is 2 years. There's 2 years. And during that time, there's a lot of prayer, a lot of silence, a lot of study. You're not yet teaching or anything. If anything, you are observing classes to see what it is a teacher does in the classroom, a teaching sister. But, and then after that, you take temporary vows. For 3 years, you receive the professed veil, and you renew those vows each year. And if after those 3 years you are sure this is for you and your training is completed, you take final vows. All right, so then the next question, sister, it says, what do you love most about being a sister of St. Thomas Aquinas, and what is the most difficult aspect?
Wow. Well, what I love most about being a sister is the community life, especially the community life at the Mother House. which you greatly appreciate if you've been in the mission house. So going back to the mother house, the community life, the community prayer life that we have, we sing the office. It's the part of the day I look forward to most, especially Vespers. For me personally, that's my favorite. And so that's what I would love the most. But as far as what's the most difficult for me, I find it difficult that, we are so active, and then we are, we're mixed. So we go through a day of, we're very busy, and then to put that aside and go into our prayer life,
Yes.
it is difficult. Which I know some orders don't have that, where they're, they're either.
Right. So the Carmelites are purely contemplative.
Yes.
They don't have any distractions. So
Yes.
I imagine it's easier for them to pray, maybe.
I would think so. I don't know. To put it all aside and completely leave it and go into prayer is
Yes.
difficult.
Yes, it can take some time to calm down your mind and
Yes.
begin your meditation. But yes, it takes time to learn to do that. And a big part of that, I think, is having a pure intention when you're working. Basically, that keeping in mind that all your work is for the glory of God, and trying to work for that intention, because it's very easy to begin to work for success, basically, which is, I think, a very natural motive, to want success in everything and to gauge everything according to earthly success. The grades that your students are getting,
Yes.
and or whatever success looks like for you. But no, having a pure intention is definitely something. As a religious, you have to work on that and ask God to grant you a pure intention in your work. And then next question: why are you grateful? What are you? I think it probably means, what are you grateful about regarding your vocation? I guess I could answer that. What are you most grateful for regarding your vocation? It's probably different per sister. For me, I think I'm most grateful that God allowed me to persevere, receiving that grace to persevere in religious life. I think it's a rare grace. God does not call everyone, of course, to religious life. And I'm mostly grateful that God allowed me to persevere, because the religious life has many advantages. Because you take the 3 vows, you basically streamline your path to heaven, because there's a great joy, I think, when you live the 3 vows. When you live the vow of obedience, for example, my tasks, like yours, vary very much from day to day. So doing this live stream, for example, but because it comes from your superior and you are working through obedience, there's such a joy that what you're doing is what God wants you to do. And pretty much every day, everything you do, it's like God spoke to you and said that today, this is what I want you to do. And I think it's just a very simple life because of that. Even if you're traveling to mission houses, organizing choirs, as a religious, it actually simplifies everything. You're doing it because you're told to, because God has asked you to do that. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way to live. Let's see. All right. So next question says, do the sisters live in a convent their entire life? Let's say yes. I mean, you might spend the night in a hotel en route, but in general, yes, the sisters always live in community, meaning with other sisters. Even a mission house, the California Mission House has had 3 sisters before they returned for Thanksgiving break. And that community life is essential for the sisters' prayer life, to be able to sing the office, to be able to work together and live those vows. There's always a superior, and then the sisters running the house and the school. Thank you, Chella87, for our first super chat. Thank you very much. All right, let's see. And then let's see, we have our next super chat. Oh, wow. Vitelio Silva, thank you very much. Super chat, $300. That's very generous of you. Thank you. God bless you. So on behalf of our family, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. QAS is really an oasis, and we are truly grateful. Sounds like they might be enrolled in our school. Thank you. Yes. Well, we appreciate that you give us the opportunity to educate your children. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to share in that work of raising souls to God. All right, next we have a super chat from Tom. Thank you for your vocation, sisters. I moved from Indiana to Florida so I could attend Queen of All Saints, and it's so beautiful to see you all at the chapel. Well, thank you. Indiana to Florida. Okay, I don't know if you've had your first summer here, but hopefully it wasn't too brutal. But yes, now we're in the nicest time of year. It's smooth sailing until May, end of May. All right, very good. Let's see. And Sister Marie Savio, thank you. Would you like to join us? How much time do you have? Few minutes? Okay, very good. Yeah, pull up a chair and I'll open Oh, there you go. All right, so Sister Marie Savio is she is in charge of preparing the second grade students for their first Holy Communions. So she is the first communion teacher. She also helps Sister Marie Margaret in running the Flex program. Yes, so thank you for joining us. And Sister Marie Savio, could you tell us briefly, what does your work entail as far as running the Flex program? I see you in and out for certain things, but I'm not really sure what it is you're doing.
I would say I'm the monitor. I watch the students' progress overall. I take them from the first day of school, orientation. I ensure they have their books and their apps and their devices and they're all set to start. And I meet with them via Zoom weekly to keep them motivated. I do think that's my biggest job is the motivation of the students. They're not live in the classroom, so they need that motivation. So I meet with them weekly to make sure they're all on track. I watch their grades. I manage the tutors who are grading everything. And I communicate with parents if any issues arise. And just overall, starting them from the day one of classes to the end, which is about 9 months, give or take. Some students progress faster, others need a little bit more time. And I get them to the end of the courses, and then we send out the report card. And this year, we're in our second year of Flex, which is really exciting. We made it to the second year. We didn't stop it after year one. So we're in the second year, and we've had 19 graduates, 19 who finished the program successfully, and 45 enrolled now, which is very exciting.
Very good.
Yeah, we have students all over. We had our first join from Hawaii, which was exciting for me. And we have in Australia as well. The Flex allows everyone to join.
Yes,
regardless of time zones, it doesn't matter. And we can always, for those students who even can't attend the weekly meetings with me or daily math tutoring sessions, we can always, it's flexible, it's Flex. So we always make sure that they have what they need.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Well, that sounds like a pretty exciting job. I that would be fun.
I enjoy it very much. I love it when the parents send me pictures. And they'll send me pictures of their child working.
Yes, actually, Sister Savio shared a picture with me. That was today?
Today, yes.
One of the Flex students had his 15th birthday, and his mother, he loves Queen of All Saints. He's very passionate about school. But his mother made him a birthday cake with the school logo on it, and it said QAS, like exclamation point. And I saw it, and I was thinking, my first thought, because I'm not a student, so I was thinking, school on a birthday? That's awful. But he had the biggest smile on his face. He looks so excited.
Yes, he's very devoted to his school, and yes, he loves it. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So actually, just real quick, I explained it briefly, but for anyone who's joined late, we're in here at the beginning. The Flex program is homeschool, but without calling into the live classes. So we have the online school where the children call in live every morning in uniform and they participate with the teacher. Flex is when they can't call in, either due to their time zone. So pretty much from California all the way to Saudi Arabia, it's possible to call into live classes. past that time zone, you would be calling in to class in the middle of the night. So it's not possible at this time, and won't be until we start teaching classes from maybe Europe or Australia. But so Flex, though, you don't have to call in. We provide videos. You can access the curriculum in your student platform. And so that's what Sister Savio is referring to, keeping the students motivated, because they're not with a teacher all the time. So motivation is a huge factor for homeschool to be successful. So thank you, Sister. And actually, I would like to mention too, I know you only work on this from probably April to September, but you're in charge of books, right? The school library. So
That's a great job.
yes. And that's one that I greatly appreciate because it directly benefits me. Could you explain a little bit what your job is as far as publishing books, printing books, and the overall library of the school?
Yes. So it, like Sister Magdalene said, it really does start up in April. But throughout the year, and even now, I'm working with some of the other sisters involved in curriculum to make sure we have the best books for our students. So we're doing a little bit of research right now with the sisters, and then come April, I have to start finding good copies of the books. And if they are in public domain, which means they're so old that we're able to print them, then I can upload them into our book publisher and make them look pretty with the cover that has pictures. That's my favorite part. And then I order a copy and we proof it to make sure there's nothing wrong. And then yes, in summer, by the time summer arrives, we have classrooms full of books arriving because we have them shipped to the school, and then we box them all up again with lots of other decorations and pretty boxes. We have we've now designed our own box, and we try to include a holy card and little lollipops for the students, and then we ship them off to the students, so they each have their own box of books. So that's what my summer usually entails. All summer.
Yes, and that's I've been able to help a couple times with that when I come across. Sometimes my job involves some research, and sometimes I'll come across an old PDF, and it's only happened once in the past year, so but I'll send it to Sister Marie Savio, and she's able to read it, analyze it based on classical standards, and sometimes you find a true gem. It's really a shame. The Catholic Church was so prolific in literature, for about 3 centuries, but when education was modernized, most of the resources were archived and forgotten, unfortunately, and it's such a shame. Basically, in an attempt to kind of socialize education and bring it to a level that is more generic and not necessarily Catholic, you might say. But yes, for example, there was a book you just added this year in September to the 8th grade reading list. I don't remember what it was called.
Yes, probably the Young Crusader.
Yes.
Young Crusader was one we added, and that was a true gem. Yes, that one was.
Yes. And it took us to try to find one so that we could copy it and reprint it. It was very difficult, but we found mention of it in an old magazine, an Irish magazine from the 1800s. It mentioned it. The magazine was praising it for its beautiful work, and we were curious, but it took a lot of research. We finally found a very old copy, not in the greatest condition, on was it on eBay?
I believe it was eBay.
And we were able to purchase it, and it turned out to just be an absolute gem. And I think as we get better at researching and start realizing where we can find resources, we find more and more. So that's wonderful. Trying to restore what Catholic education was before it was, before the classical was dropped and was no longer common. All right, very good. So I have a couple more questions. I have, let's see, this is a fun one. So several questions actually about the music. We'll answer those questions next. We do have kind of a big update for that. All right, so we have a question here. Who is your favorite male and female saint?
Can I answer that
You
one?
are yes.
Well, of course, I chose Saint Dominic Savio, so he's definitely one of my top male saints. But actually, I would say very close to him, I would choose probably Saint Sebastian as one of the top male saints. And then, of course, I teach First Communion kids, so Saint Rose of Lima and Blessed Imelda are my top.
Very good. Well, it sounds like Saint Dominic Savio, Blessed Imelda. It sounds like did your devotion cause your work, or has your work, it's directly connected? Did your work cause your devotion?
I think my work has caused the devotion because I couldn't tell you the stories of these saints when I was in high school. I probably couldn't tell you about them. But now that I've had to teach the First Communion kids, I read their stories over and over again, and you learn to really
love them.
love
Yes.
them. Mhm.
Yes, it's yes, I would agree. Your favorites, some stay. They're just permanently your patron, but they do change over time as you learn more about the saints. And Sister Margaret?
For me, probably, well, St. Margaret Mary, of course, is a
Yes.
special patron, but probably St. Madeleine Sophie Barat.
Yes, that's
I didn't know anything about her before coming to the convent, but she's one of the patrons, and we've been reading about her and really developed a special devotion to her. And probably Saint Francis de Sales as the male saint.
there's a connection there too.
Yes.
Those are both beautiful. Yes, St. Madeleine Sophie Barrett, if you've never read her life, what's the name of the book?
I think it's called St. Madeleine Sophie.
Oh, it is.
Barat.
It's just-
yes, and it's available
Do you know the
online in the
author?
archive. I don't. Do you remember
We'll send a quick message to the other sisters, see if we can get a response before the end of the live stream. But yes, if you've never read her life, I would highly recommend. Just an incredible saint, especially if you're interested in education of youth. She really kind of pioneered Catholic education in the United States, especially for young girls.
Yes, her sisters did.
Of course, the schools did not necessarily cater to that particular niche. And yes, in fact, when we were developing the curriculum, we, well, not myself, but Mother Mary Teresa traveled to St. Louis, Missouri to visit the archives of her congregation, to look at what they did in their school in different areas, which was had a big influence on our own school structure. Yes.
I know it's available. Is it Margaret?
Yes, well, I sent a message, so if they
Okay.
respond, we'll post it in the chat. All right, so then we have a couple questions about the music. We do have a music update. Last time we had a Giving Tuesday, that was a top question. Sometimes, I'm sure everyone knows this who's watching, but we will take a video, usually on a phone, of the sisters singing or practicing the Vespers antiphon or practicing the Sunday antiphons, and we'll post it on YouTube or on our social media. And there have been many requests if we would record an album and make it available on Spotify or Amazon Music or just on streaming platforms, or even sell a physical CD. So we did not touch that project for about 3 years, and we're sorry for the delay. We kept trying, but it's difficult when you're running a school. There's so little time for projects. And of course, if you're going to invest in a professional recording, you want to be in practice. And that takes time because you need all the sisters, the altos and the sopranos, and several days where you can practice the music. We don't practice very often. We just sing the music, and we sing every day, but yes, to practice and try to bring ourselves to our best takes a couple days.
Yes.
We do that for the Lent Tenebrae. If you're able to come to Tenebrae, by the way, that's such a special ceremony. The music is, Bach considered it to be the most beautiful music ever written. Up to his time is the Catholic music of Tenebrae. We do practice for that because otherwise we could not sing it. It's very challenging, but very worth it. It's so beautiful. But outside of that, usually we just sing on a daily basis. But yeah, so we tried scheduling a project about a year and a half ago, and then it fell through because an event came up, the consecration of a bishop, that was well worth canceling the project for. But some good news, we're happy to update that we recorded 60 minutes. We had a professional audio engineer come down to our chapel, set up microphones. It was not a phone, it was real microphones. And we recorded about 60 minutes of music, mostly chant, but we did do, I think, 3 polyphony pieces.
Yes.
We did the Sicut Cervus, one of the Tenebrae Responsories, and then part of the Bird Mass, which are just 3 of our favorites. And unfortunately, there is some delay because the company that we chose is in high demand. So there's a wait for each step. So we had to wait several months for them to come. And now we have to wait a couple months before they actually send us the files. Not that it takes them very long, but I think they just have many projects in backlog. So they have estimated that we will receive our files, our recorded files, in February. So we are very excited for that. So, and yeah, then they will also master them, which I did not know this, but it's a step where you just make sure the files are the right size and the right, I don't know,
Volume?
maybe the right volume for streaming
volume.
and for the different streaming platforms, and then we'll upload them and make them available to everyone. So thank you very much for waiting so patiently. I know some of you have been waiting for more than 3 years, and but yes, and hopefully we'll continue doing that. Now that we've done it once, it should get easier, I think, and maybe we can continue posting music to those platforms. All right, so then our next question, we have a question from Chella87. What is the difference from the online school versus attending in person? Academically, I think they're pretty much the same, I would say. You don't really notice a difference academically between an online, if they're attending live. Flex is different. Flex, they're
Right.
self-paced, they're on their own, except for the weekly meeting. But online, they're actually in the classroom with the campus students, doing all of the same activities. So I would say it's very similar academically. However, campus has the advantage that they go to mass every morning. They arrive, they do have to get up earlier. The online students get to sleep in. So if their parents allow them to, they don't start class until either 9 or 10 a.m., depending on if they go to music. But the campus students arrive on campus at 7:30, and they get to attend mass every morning. So they're receiving the sacraments on a daily basis. They have the weekly confession. And of course, they also eat lunch together and have a 30-minute recess. So I think those are the big differences. But some of our online families have been able to incorporate that same schedule. They're able to get to mass in the morning, and they have a designated lunchtime and recess time for their kids. And I think that I think homeschool can be really just as good. Really, the parent decides the quality of education that a child receives, and good parents give the highest quality. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Bishop Sanborn mentioned, let's see. I don't know if I know the answer to this question. Yes, I think I would have to, I actually don't know the answer to that question, but that makes sense because if Bishop Sanborn mentioned it, my pay grade is too low. I'm not involved in any of those discussions. We would have to have Mother Mary Teresa here. But no, I think we're always, if you can please pray for vocations, the more sisters we have, the more sisters who persevere in their vocation, the greater, the more work we can accomplish. Yes. All right, let's see. All right, so then we are about 40 minutes into the live stream. And so I just wanted to comment, I mentioned that there's a link in the description for a donation link. And I wanted to comment on our goal for this Giving Tuesday. The next question says, since this is Giving Tuesday, what are you raising the money for? God bless you and your work. Thank you. Thank you, Fred Goldbach. Appreciate that question. I probably would have forgotten to mention it. Yes. So our main goal for this Giving Tuesday, what Mother Mary Teresa shared with us would be a wonderful goal to reach, is to reach 50 new donors. That is our goal. So I know that many of you who are joining, I recognize that several of these names, you are already donating to the sisters. If you could share this link or share a link to our newsletter, but basically to reach out to 50 more people that perhaps have not heard of the sisters or have not donated to the sisters, and let them know about our work so that they are able to support us. And there are two ways to support us. The first, and I would say the foremost, is by praying for us. Your prayers, the apostolate of praying for us is the most valuable thing in the world. It does more for us than anything else. So if you can add to your rosary, that's a big request, but to your daily rosary, if you can add one of your intentions to pray for the Sisters of St. Thomas Aquinas, for our apostolate, and for new vocations, that is probably the greatest gift you could give us. And if we had 50 more families praying for us, I think our apostolate would explode this year. So please, if you are able to share the link or share about our work, that would be greatly appreciated. The second way you can support us, and right now we already have about 50 people who are doing this. So first of all, thank you very much. Giving Tuesday is right after Thanksgiving, and that's appropriate because it always reminds us of the support we've received in the last year. But basically, we have what are called recurring donors. So if you go to the donation page in the link, you'll notice when you click on it, there's two options. You can make a one-time donation, which is greatly appreciated, but you can also select recurring, and you're able to select, I want to give a donation monthly, or weekly, or quarterly, or yearly. And that for us means a lot because the work of the sisters is largely dependent on the fact that we can support ourselves. We can support the 30 sisters who are working here on a monthly basis, and hopefully even have the means to spread our work. And when we have monthly donors or annual donors, that gives us the ability to accept more sisters, basically. If you don't know that you're going to be receiving the financial support needed, you can't necessarily accept more vocations or found a new mission house or travel to parishes with the traveling cost money. So having recurring donors is an incredible support for the sisters. And last year we received about 50 recurring donors, which was huge for us. And even $5 monthly, it makes a big difference because it's something that we know will be there. And so if you'd like to become a recurring donor, recurring donors are remembered daily in our rosary. So if you do that, then in our rosary, it's one of our intentions to pray for our recurring donors and on a daily basis. So we greatly depend on that. And also we have a duty to give back to you through our prayers and our work. All right, very good. So then, so thank you, Mr. Goldbach, for asking that question. All right, so we have, thank you for your patience with the students. My son is new to QAS, but all I hear are good things about the school and the sisters. God bless you all. Thank you, at Karai Tamashi. We really appreciate that. Is that, not sure if that's a flex or online or campus student, but we're glad to hear that. And thank you. We appreciate it. Hopefully he continues to enjoy QAS through the end of the year and in following years. All right. Next question. Let's see. Will Flex continue beyond year 8? That is a good question. Sister Savio, your name is in here for this one.
Okay, so I am hoping it continues past year 8, but as of right now, it is not, of course, open and graded. We are looking to make it possible in the
Yes.
future. We're just not quite there yet.
Yes.
And a matter of fact, one of our 8th graders who didn't want to leave QAS last year just joined the live school so that he could stay with us. So I've been trying to encourage our 8th graders to do that so we don't lose them. But it is my hope that we can start high school for Flex, but I think it's going to be a lot of work. So
Yes. Well, I know, I know there's a big motivation this year. Last year was our pilot year, was our first year with Flex. So we didn't advertise it. We just accepted certain students that we knew were waiting for the program because it was in test mode, you might say. So lots of mistakes probably. But this year we have several students in the 8th grade. So there's a huge motivation for us. And it is on the to-do list. I actually did see it on the upcoming project. So the problem is that whenever we start a project, we're not able to predict how long it will take us to complete the project. So but hopefully with more sisters, we'll get more time and we'll be able to tackle that and get it done in a timely manner in time for next year. So let's see. All right, so several requests for prayers, and yes, we are saving this chat, so we will enter all of these in our prayer requests. Thank you for joining the chat. We appreciate your time. All right, so we have another super chat from Light Deb, $20. Thank you, sisters. Well, thank you very much. All right, let's see. Another question. Could a widow become a nun? Until what age can someone become a nun? That also varies per congregation. So for example, since our congregation is a teaching congregation, we accept applicants. So you're joining up to the age of 30 years due to the 6 years of training and then the nature of the work, working with the children. But there are many congregations, for example, there are even congregations that were founded for widows even. So for example, St. Francis of Rome, if you've never read her life, what an amazing saint. She started a congregation in Rome after her husband died that was for widows, and they had work that they would do in the service of God. So if there's any congregation you're interested in, I would recommend just reaching out to that congregation, finding more about their work, what their life entails, and what their age requirements are. All right, we have another super chat from Shinislat at $20. God bless you, sisters. Thank you for all that you do. God bless you. Thank you. All right, and another super chat from King Jesus Coming, $19.99. God bless you and thank you. And that's our most recent super chat. Thank you very much. All right, very good. And then we actually have another sister who has showed, actually been sitting on the side of your Sister Bernard. Could you join us? And Sister Margaret, thank you.
You're welcome.
You give us a lot of your
Thank
time. And Sister Marie Francis has also been here, is going to join us. And that's good because I've been skipping some of these questions, but Sister Marie Francis will be able to answer any that I was not able to. So thank you, sister. Appreciate your time this evening.
Very welcome, sister.
I know you are traveling tomorrow, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Sister Bernard, you were here last time we did a Giving Tuesday live stream.
Yes.
So you're an old timer. All right, very good. So then some questions that I skipped over that I would love to go back to. And actually there is another question that came in on social media. I have a question regarding, let me go back, I think the very first question at the top of the chat. So I'm glad we saved this one. So Sister Marie Francis, the question was, if you had one tip for parents today, what would it be? And I'm guessing this is just based around the school and our experience with
One tip for parents. Well,
One-
that's
one
a
tip
good
for
question.
parents.
It's a hard one. Well, I would say the spiritual life of the parents is critical. So, of course, as the saints instruct us to develop your spiritual life, the daily meditation is paramount. So I would say for any parent charged with the task of raising children, the daily meditation in the morning, if possible. It's crazy to raise children, so I know it's very busy. But basically, of course, we are just channels, right? God is our great architect in raising and developing the soul. So if we are not a docile and a good instrument, then we are not able to actually be a fit channel. So basically, the strength of the spiritual life in the parent is going to dictate the virtue in the child. Yes, so the more you pray, the more graces you receive, and the better you are fit to do your job of forming the child. So that's what my advice would be.
Thank you, sister.
It's nice to simplify things, right?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. And for anyone who's not familiar with that term, spiritual life, it's referring to, rather than the life of the body, the life of the soul. So the soul is a living thing and grows every day in love of God and in virtue. And as I'm sure most of our followers know, you grow in the spiritual life through prayer and receiving the sacraments regularly. And is that a good, simple explanation of it? Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that's, yes, that's good.
Very good. So then I also skipped over, there were some questions here about, and we have another super chat from Joseph Barnes. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. $99.99, very generous of you. We greatly appreciate your support. Yes, and if you are not yet, if you'd like to consider becoming a recurring donor, that's our goal for today, to reach 50 new recurring donors, or if you know someone who might be interested in that, even just a couple dollars a month is a great support for us that we know is there and we can rely on. All right, so then we have we had a couple questions about the curriculum, and they were specifically referring to the fact that we build curriculum. So asking what that means. So if someone wanted to build a Catholic curriculum for a school, for a classical school, or perhaps in another language, the super chat the chat that we got, based on the way it was typed, I don't think they were, English was their first language. So what is the process we follow in building a curriculum? And is there any resource you'd recommend for someone to study in order to achieve a good traditional Catholic curriculum for students?
Yes. Well, that's a work in progress.
Yes.
For sure. We are still working year-round on the curriculum. And I don't think it will be a job that we will ever say is finished. But we are certainly have made a lot of progress in the years that I've been with QAS and seen the work. But really, and I think you might have mentioned this before, sister, but really going back to the Catholic sources, the old Catholic sources, has been our that's basically what I would recommend, which is hard because those resources are lost and they need to be recovered.
Yes.
So that's a bit of a process, which I think you also talked about.
Yes, we mentioned it a little bit, just talking about good books for the children to read, even
Yes.
just good literature, even a good novel, a good healthy read
Yes.
for Catholic children.
Right.
And is there, you mentioned going back to original sources. So outside of finding good books for the children to read, is there a particular
Yes.
resource for an educator?
Well, I'm very passionate about this. So I would say a breakthrough for us really was about 15 years ago. We discovered the Jesuits' resources. And we read the Ratio, and the Ratio is, if any of you have ever picked it up, you can find it online. You want the $15.99 version published in $15.99. But it's bare bones, right? So there, it's of course a work of genius because of all the yes, but you do what we needed was someone to basically flesh that out and develop. Well, how does it work? And also too, what are some of the changes that were made after the 1600s? Because of course, education does have to adapt itself a bit to the time. So. So we found a work by Schwickerath, Father
Yes,
Schwickerath.
we think we mentioned that in our video on classical. If you haven't watched that, by the way, and you're interested in classical education as far as the principles of it and how it's applied today for Catholic children, there is a video on our YouTube channel. It's about 40 minutes long where we discuss that with Sister Mary Francis. And we mentioned that resource by Schwickerath. It's an excellent read.
Yes, so that was absolutely a complete breakthrough for us, just hearing the roots of the classical education, what it is in essence, because it's you see accidentals, you see the peripherals that people have tried to restore. They grab this, they grab that, but really getting at the heart of it and what is it, and discovering, understanding that that it is the development of the faculties, primarily intellect and the will. And how you do that, how do you do that? Well, what are you going to do, right? So they tell you in the practical order how the Jesuits did that, which was a breakthrough for us.
Yes.
I've read that book several times. So anyways, that's a great resource, but that's more so, I would say, it's not as detailed as what a curriculum developer is going to need.
Right.
So for that, we found a book published by the Christian Brothers. It's called The Elements of Practical Pedagogy. And it's written by the Christian Brothers, published in 1905. Again, an incredible, I would say life-changing, school-changing text that basically goes through, of course, they have the introductory, the principles that guide education, right? It's a simple thing, but it's very complicated. You have all the, the internal senses, the external senses, the physical part of, physical education. And then you have religious education, moral education, intellectual education, and how that's done, which is important for anyone educating. You have to understand what are the fundamental principles guiding the decisions you make for what you're going to put in the hands of the child, in the hands of the teacher. And so that they go through that, but then it's an absolute, it's just wonderful.
I'm gonna see if I can find an excerpt on it.
Oh, perfect. Yes, that would be nice.
But yes, and I think I've only read part of that book, Elements of Practical Pedagogy, but I would say the book unfortunately kind of assumes that the reader has a certain knowledge of Catholic philosophy. A lot of the terms it uses, internal versus external senses, the conscience, the will, it kind of assumes that the reader knows the differences between the different faculties. But even just taking a month, you don't have to have an expertise in philosophy. Even taking a month to learn the basics is, I think, sufficient to understand it fully and to be able to read it with interest, where it actually, makes sense. You know what it's talking about. But I wanted to see real quick if I could pull up an example, because I think what you're referring to is, for example, if you walk into a classroom and it's history class, history class for 8th grade, you have a book and you place that book in the hands of the child, the teacher has the book, and the goal is to get them to know their history. But that's a very superficial and a superficial goal. It's not the outcome you're looking for. In fact, it's only a means to the outcome. And at the end of the day, when they leave that history class, their mind should have reached a greater formation, a higher level of thinking, if the teacher does a good job. But of course, the teacher would need to know those goals in order to impart them to the child. It's not difficult to do, but if the teacher just thought, they have to learn about World War II and know all their dates, then they're not going to achieve the goals of classical education. And Sister Ray Bernard, you were the 5th grade homeroom teacher for how many years did you do that?
That was for 3 years, sister.
And maybe could you share with us a quick example? I'm going to pull up the PDF and just see if I can find a short paragraph I could share. But can you share with us a quick example of how your training in the classical pedagogy, putting you on the spot here, but how your training affected the way you conducted a class, or what outcome you expected for the child to achieve?
Okay, well, you have 2 questions there. So I'll take the first one.
Okay.
I guess as far as implementing that, I really, obviously it was also a work in progress with all the training, but I think trying to ensure that the student does as much thinking as you can get them to do, basically. So essentially not necessarily just giving them the dates or giving them the cause and the effects of, World War II or whatever it is, but, giving them what they need and then trying to have them, okay, so why? A lot of times, as much as I can, I try to ask them, why do you think this? Why do you think that? And then obviously eventually
Socratic
becomes-
questioning.
Yes, exactly. Yes. All my lesson plans, Socratic questioning, try to have them, come to the
Right, and
conclusion.
It's always funny to hear the first round, right? So
Yes.
it's always, oh, okay, right? The first
yes.
attempts are a little awkward, but that is what you want. You want the attempt because then they are growing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I would also say it's surprisingly difficult to have good, at least for me, to have good Socratic questioning, because you basically, real quick, just wanted to mention at Vanessa.A13 super chat $49.99. Thank you very much, Vanessa. God bless you. Thank you, sisters. My daughter is in Sister Josephine's class,
Oh, yes.
and she is doing so well. We are truly grateful for the love and guidance she receives each day. Thank you, Vanessa. I'll be sure to, I'll take a picture of that real quick. Be sure to share that with Sister Ray Josephine. Unfortunately, she could not join us tonight, just had too much grading lesson planning to do. We just came back from Thanksgiving break, so it's kind of, feels like a water in the face. You're like waking up again. Yes. Very good. So then, yes, the Socratic questioning, not every question works. Sometimes if you don't ask the question correctly, it doesn't lead them to clear reasoning. So coming up with questions that lead them to reason out and make a proper judgment is very challenging, especially with the middle school, because they want to know they're so curious. They want to know the why, and they sometimes miss the what, and you have to lead them to think through it. But yes.
And then as well, I think a huge part of it is taking their answers, and they
Yes.
might be pretty off, but there's usually something if they're
Yes.
thinking, and then you can take that and
Right.
turn it a little bit, give them a little bit more, and it's really neat. It's very fulfilling to
Yes.
see them
Right.
over time.
All right, very good. Well, Sister Ray Francis, Sister Ray Bernard, I won't keep you any longer. I know you also had lesson planning. I did find an excerpt that I'll share with the audience about history. I think it'll add some detail to what you were referring to. But thank you, Sister Ray Bernard. Appreciate your time. Very good. So I'll just read a short excerpt. It says, and this is so helpful for a history teacher. The Christian Brothers said the object or the goal of history is to instruct man in the proper regulation of his life and to preserve national traditions. So twofold goal, to instruct him in the proper regulation of his life and to preserve national traditions. It requires the exercise of reason to grasp logical relations, memory to retain facts, imagination and sentiment to realize circumstance of time and place, and conscience so those are the faculties you're exercising and trying to strengthen. And conscience to estimate men and events in accordance with the prescriptions of Christian morality, of will, which is the most important faculty, in order to regulate our conduct according to the practical teachings of history and to develop a love of country. And then it goes through and gives some principles. You should always be using pictures, animations, and this was written in the 1800s. So we really had to have an advantage there. We should do a good job with
Right.
that. It's a
Yes,
lot
so
easier today.
they basically go through each subject and they tell you what are the faculties, what are the principles guiding the course. And then they even give a class flow, a sample, like if you're working with ages 5 through 9, what should you be doing in the class with those students? So an absolute breakthrough for the school, and we've been basically trying to incorporate that into the curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And then we're joined by Sister Marie Anthony. Thank you for joining tonight. Sister Marie Anthony might be right now our busiest sister. So I really appreciate you stopping by. Sister Marie Anthony is the Mistress of Novices. So she is in charge of training up our future sisters and the training of Sister Marie Bernard. For example, Sister Marie Bernard was a novice under Sister Marie Anthony. Perhaps could you share with our audience tonight what it is you do as Mistress of Novices? We spoke earlier in the live stream about what a sister is and how everyone does have a different work, though, depending on their expertise or their natural abilities. So what is it that you do as the Mistress of Novices?
Yeah, so the Mistress of Novices is the sister appointed by the Mother General for the training of the novices. And we're training them in the religious life, and especially in the object is the formation of their minds and hearts, chiefly by means such as prayer, the practice of virtue throughout the day. And
That's
then,
the hard one.
yes, that's weaved all throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then also through the observance of the rules of the congregation.
Yes, and you mentioned prayer, and actually a comment Sister Marie Margaret made earlier in the live stream. She mentioned that for her, one of the most difficult things about being a sister of our congregation is the fact that it's a mixed life where it's both contemplative and active. It's not purely active and it's not purely contemplative because you have to leave aside your work and go to meditation. Could you share with us a little bit about how, and then actually, Sister Marie Francis, you mentioned meditation is actually important for parents since you cannot give what you don't have. So you must grow in love of God to teach that to your children. Maybe you could share with us a little bit about how you teach a postulant meditation, just briefly, like how does that, is there a particular...
Wow, Sister Anthony has such a hard job.
Well, the sisters in novitiate are given classes. So we go through a directory of all the spiritual duties they have throughout the day, and that includes meditation. We use the book, The Conversation of Christ.
Yes.
Conversation with Christ.
It's based on St. Teresa of Avila.
Yes.
Correct. I'll see if I can find the author of that real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we chiefly use that book as a guide. And then also, currently, we're really working on the practice of recollection during the day, which is one of the chief means to making a good meditation.
Okay. Yes, so teaching them how to be, yes, so having that pure intention where even though you are washing dishes, doing the laundry, teaching a class, traveling to a mission house, whatever it is, you are recollected in that. So basically not forgetting God's presence.
Correct, yes.
God's presence in your soul during your work.
Correct, yes.
Good. And I did find that book, and yes, actually I read this book when I was probably 15 years old. And this book, I would say, had a big influence on my pursuing the religious life. So I recommend it for any young lady who is interested in religious life. It's an excellent introduction to meditation. And I think meditation, yes, I think anyone,
It's very good.
meditation will basically boost your spiritual life, and it will lead you to, if you're young, to find your vocation. If you are an adult, to follow it well and faithfully. It's really the kind of the substance of a spiritual life. But the book is by Peter Thomas Rohrbach, and I will copy and paste this into the chat real quick if you have not read it. And it's always worth rereading. It's done so simply. It's so easy to understand. It does not expect philosophy. It's very simple, and it's based on St. Teresa of Avila. Let's see.
And what's really useful, she gives you an example of a meditation.
Oh, right.
Not she, but the book gives an example of a meditation and walks you through
Mhm.
how to meditate. So it's a wonderful resource for beginners.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Very good. So then just looking through, we have a couple more questions. We actually, let's see the time. We have passed, we just passed the 1 hour mark. So we'll be closing up the live stream, but if there are any last minute questions you didn't get to ask, or if you're joining late, this is our Giving Tuesday fundraiser. We're hoping to reach 50 new recurring donors. That's our goal. So if you do not currently have a charity that you are donating to, the students and sisters would greatly appreciate your support this year. And you can find a link to donating in the description and also in the chat. And yes, if you're already donating, I recognize many of these names here. Many of you are supporters of the sisters. I hear your names at our daily rosary. So if you're already donating, please share our cause, our work with others who might be interested in supporting us. So we do all the work, but we are not paying for it ourselves. It's paid for by our donors. So
was it St. Teresa of Avila who said, you need money to do anything?
yes.
Yeah.
But she was there's a hilarious letter she wrote to her brother asking, she didn't ask for donations. She told them to donate. She was very blunt. She's like, I need a donation. Send the donation. If you don't have the money, send me, she would tell them, send me your watch, and she would specify which one. She had quite a sense of humor. If you've never read her life by Thomas Walsh, he's a excellent historian. He wrote Isabella of Spain, Teresa of Avila, biographies of not just saints, but even just historical characters. But the biography of St. Teresa of Avila, he does an excellent job highlighting her sense of humor. Yes, very good. One last question here. Do you see family often? We actually, yes, for Thanksgiving, we got to visit our families, and we visit our families typically around the holidays for Thanksgiving. Basically, if we are on break from school, we will sometimes have an opportunity to visit our families during the summer. Thanksgiving, we visit them. And the novices, those 2 years of your novitiate, you don't visit family, but you do get to call home, have a Zoom call once a month, stay in touch. But yes, and some of the sisters, their families live here. So some of the sisters are teaching their younger siblings, and so they see their family every day, but or teaching their nephews and nieces in some cases. But yes, so Sister Maria Aloysius, her family lives in California. They had the opportunity to travel to Florida during the Thanksgiving break and visit her, and I know she really enjoyed that.
Oh, yes.
So yes. All right. Let's see. Very good. So then I think we did answer most of the questions. There was one question, do we offer catechism? The answer is yes, we do still teach the traditional catechism. It's not taught typically in parochial schools, but we do actually teach the Baltimore Catechism in the younger grades by the Christian Brothers, the Day Harbs in the older grades, and then we have a 3-year course on moral dogma worship, and that you can enroll your child in a single catechism course if you would like. We also actually are going to be launching a free video series of catechism, thanks to a couple volunteer students. We'll be able to record the lessons and post them. It's just a matter of finding the time to do that, and that will probably be published at the end of this coming summer. But yes, we do offer catechism courses for children ages, I would say ages 6 through
18.
6 through 18, yes.
Currently, yes.
All right, very good. So then, yes, in the school, if someone's enrolled, there is catechism 4 times a week. So it's a 30-minute class 4 times a week in grades K through 8. And then it's one of their credits in high school is the study of the Catholic faith, dogma, moral worship. And then there's even an optional elective in high school, apologetics, which is studying the defense of the faith. So proving the existence of God and different topics for defending your faith. But that's reserved for the oldest students. They have to learn philosophy.
It's challenging.
That one's that's a
Challenging,
challenge.
but-
It requires, public speaking and a certain amount of debate. All right, so then,
I think there was one at another donation, sister, just now.
okay, very good. Let's see. Yes, thank you very much. Maribel Lopez, $49.99. God bless you. Thank you. I think you might be our final super chat. So thank you very much. And thank you everyone who has donated, in the past hour. We very much appreciate your donation. We know there are many wonderful, wonderful causes, wonderful charities out there, and giving us your time tonight in itself is a donation. I know your time is valuable, but yes, if you can please remember us in your prayers, that's the greatest donation you can make. And yes, if you're in a position to donate to another charity or donate to our charity, we greatly appreciate your financial support. We'll make immediate use of it in purchasing books, sponsoring students,
It is endless. The list
yes,
is endless.
mixing and mastering our CD project, which we can't do. We have to, of course, pay someone to do that. But yes, it's
Everything
greatly
requires
appreciated.
money.
Yes. All right. Do we offer AP classes? Yes, in high school. We do have a prerequisite because you don't want the child to attempt the course and then fail it. AP classes are about 30% more difficult than an honors course. Just more work. You have to move more quickly because there's more content in an AP course. We actually build our own AP courses though, so that they are classical, and then we get them approved by the College Board as AP. So we don't use the College Board's AP course because it's not classical, and it'd be very difficult to teach it in a classical manner. And also sometimes the content is non-Catholic. So yes, we go the long route. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. We build our own AP courses. We get them approved as AP, and they do count as AP on the transcript. And they're a great resource because some students need that extra challenge. If they're gifted, they can be bored in a standard course. They need something more difficult, moving at a faster pace. But yes, we do offer AP in high school. Thank you for the live stream and answers. May God continue to bless and guide you all. We'll be keeping you all in our family's prayers. Thank you very much. HG-Mass, that is a beautiful way to end our live stream. That's exactly what we are asking for is your prayers. So thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you, sisters, for dropping in, saying hello to our donors. And I think we got more sisters in this evening than ever before.
Yes.
I think
I
we
was
had
very surprised.
how many people showed up.
It was like Grand Central out there. All the sisters coming to.
Yes.
Wow, Sister Mary Magdalene, she got a lot.
Yes, maybe it's because we just finished Thanksgiving break and they're not as eager to get back to lesson planning and grading. But yes, thank you both. And everyone have a wonderful evening. It was a pleasure having you all here this evening. Please share our donation link with others who might be interested in supporting our work. And I did post, someone commented on this, I'll just mention, there will be, if we reach our goal in the next week of reaching 50 new donors, and if we reach that goal, we're going to do another live stream on Friday, and we'll give you an update on our goal and be happy to answer more questions. I did have one update I was going to share, which we did not have time for. There was one more update on the new rooms that we built for the sisters that we installed, but I had some video footage to share, but we can save that. If hopefully we'll just count on meeting our goal, and we'll save that for the next live stream. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Have a good evening and happy Giving Tuesday. Good. Thank you.
Is it turned off?